the Special Projects and Programs Officer in the Disability Affairs Division. And what I do is I develop projects that would sensitize the general public and relevance to disability awareness, disability sensitivity, and disability etiquette. Additionally, I would support in non-profit organizations and private entities that want to host events that would help empower the lives of persons with disabilities through their fundraising initiatives. We also design training programs that would help persons with disabilities live more independent lives. And so those are the main initiatives I do here in the Department of Social Services, and by extension through being a part of non-profit organizations and groups that support improving the quality of life for persons with disabilities here in the country.
Let's go back to the night of Tropical Storm Imelda. Just in one sentence, and we'll be back to expand on it. What was that night like?
Terrifying. That's as simple as I can do it, because this one was a different experience for me in particular than any of the other ones that I've been through. It was most terrifying.
We're going to get some more details about this terrifying experience he lived with his father, who was 75 years old. Can you imagine not being able to see? Things falling down around you. The rooftop, oh my God. Oh, let's continue to pray for those who were and are being affected by the aftermath of Tropical Storm Imelda. Taking social services to the people returns in a moment.
Have you heard about the Promise Unit? The Department of Social Services provides food assistance, housing assistance, uniform assistance, burial assistance, and financial assistance. Promise makes it easy. You can log on via cell phone, your computer, or your tablet. Sign up today at promise.gov.bs. Once you've registered and created a profile, you can call the Promise Customer Contact Center and speak with someone about any inquiries at 1-242-4-PROMISE. That's 242-477-6647.
Welcome back. Just before we took the break, we were hearing the terrifying experience of Kendrick Rule. He's blind with sight, but tremendous capacity that is being fueled by his vision, his tenacity. Let's take a look from his position as physically blind of what that night was like. Mr. Rule, relive that for us. What happened? How did it happen? And what were your responses like?
Well, the storm or the tropical depression was a very wet one. And I live in the Pinewood community, which is prone to flooding. Now, my home itself does not flood as often as others, but with this storm, which brought a lot of rain, was one of those times that I would be 9 inches deep in water.
You needed a little boat, a little canoe.
Yes, ma'am. And so with the rain just continuing to fall, and I was having trouble with the roof for quite some time, and resources wasn't there to take on the project itself. I had applied for assistance, and it was being promised for me, but you are a list that's ahead of you on the line to took from the urban renewal. And so we just work with it, and when rain comes, there would always be some dripping, and I guess it would add to the deterioration. But however, on the night during the passage, as the water came up in the home, there was a point when after you done elevate everything, the only thing you could do is sit in the bed or sit in the chair as the waters come up. In that time, I would walk through the water, just check through the house, check on Dad. He was more in the front area. I would be in the back area. We'd talk back and forth about how the water's coming in through people driving through the water and then sending the water into the house because there's no blocks. It comes under the doors, both the kitchen doors. And so at one point when I step out of the bed, I say, okay, it's starting to come in. So back and forth. And in a matter of about 30 minutes, like I said, it was above my ankle coming up almost to my calf, So, furniture wet and what's not. And then it was just silence for a while, because sometimes I would hear him saying something on the phone and what's not, I'd be in the bathroom. And then
something here, you're saying something on the phone. What do you mean?
He's probably just talking to other people, letting them know when water's coming in the house and what's not. That was
you're connected to some family member or friend.
Whoever calls on the phone, you just talk. Yes, family, friend, whoever, So, and that was still power, because the radio was still on for me, And then there was silence, and then all of a sudden, I hear the big boom, glass breaking, splatter. And so I just hauled it out for him. I say, Dad, you all right? And I didn't get no answer. And then after a minute or so, I hear he say in a weak voice, say, yeah, that's the roof come down in the dining room. So all the stuff on top of the dining room table was broken up and what's not. And then about 15 minutes later, was another big commotion. That's the other part of the dining room coming down. And then at some point, we almost got used to it as the pieces keep dropping, because how the homes are, they're concrete roofs. So as a safety precautions, what you would do inside your home, you would put up the frame and sheetrock to avoid the concrete dropping down on you. But with the deterioration on the roof outside, the concrete is now breaking down and dropping through the sheetrock roof. So that's double whammy coming down. And then at one point, when I thought he was in his bedroom, he was still out front, I heard it come down in his bedroom. So it's just terrifying. I don't know which way to go, because I don't know if it's going to come down on me in this room or if I go this way where it's going to come down. So it was just terrifying. And then, at his age, he can't do much to help me. And
his age?
Much to help him.
How old's that?
He's 75 years old. A few days. The same month of October will make him 75 years old. And he had a massive stroke back in 2011, so one side of his body is kind of limp. And so it's just he and I battling in the home. So it was just a terrifying experience.
What is it now? What is it? It's finished. You're safe. We give God thanks.
Yeah.
But what do you relive that?
I try not to think about it because it sends me in an emotional state. Because I know for quite some time I've been trying to make efforts to get this roof repaired. It's basically just one income in the home, and I have other obligations. So, I try to balance everything as much as I can. But the roof was just a project that was too massive for me to undertake alone. And that's why I was seeking the assistance of God or program.
And they did deliver.
Well, at one point in time, I know it was approved. And so amazingly, I got the call on Thursday just before the storm to say that, okay, the contract will be coming out to you. However, it looks like the storm coming, so right after the storm, they'll be coming to you. Now, the storm happened to just expose some more vulnerabilities of the home. And so they came after the storm, and when they look at it, whatever was budgeted or was a part of the scope of work, when they took a look at what has happened, they now have to go back to the drawing board, because much more than what they thought they would have to do needs to be done. Or with the passage of another storm, who knows, it could be catastrophic in that home for me and my father.
Ms. Smith,
Yes,
speak to, because I think it's, in some cases, a legitimate concern that things take too long to be processed. And then there is the other part of it where the overload is so much that it slows the process. Speak to both so that we can have clarity in inefficiencies in a system. And I'm not only talking about urban, I'm talking about social services. I talk about any government ministry. The bureaucracy sometimes feels overbearing, but there is another side of the story that could bring some clarity. And what is your opinion? The weight of inefficiency falls more on being overwhelmed, or do we have a work ethic problem? What is it?
Well, in Mr. Roll's case, the thing is this, in the system, we work in a system, and we have to follow the rules and regulations of the system. And so the procedures are in place. Sometimes they take very long. Sometimes they take not as long. However, the fact is that they actually came to him, which means he was a part of that list. In time, I would say, to avoid further deterioration of the home. And thankfully, they have gone and looked again at the scope of work to see how best they can assist him, and we hope quickly, more quickly. Sometimes manpower can create the overwhelming feelings that we get because we know people are hurting. However, as a human being, yes, we are the ministry that helps all. However, sometimes because of manpower, you can only do so much. After a while, you yourself becomes tired, which sometimes make others not well. However, in a system, the process, sometimes the red tape, sometimes holds things up. If we can get out of all the red tape, I know accountability is important, especially where funds are. Accountability is important. We get that. However, in cases like persons like Mr. Roll with a disability, or person the vulnerable of us all, I think we can move a little quickly. And that's a process that has to now be looked at to see how best we can pull some things away to make the process be more smoothly and more quickly.
What are you doing to help Mr. Roll?
Mr. Roll, we found a place for him to be. We're gonna try and get him there so that while they're working on the house, he can be in a place that is suitable for himself and his father.
How's your father doing, Mr. Roll?
He is predominantly a silent man, and he accepts things for what they are. So he wouldn't complain, honestly. You know, he's just always thankful for whatever little or much he has. So he's not complaining, but he'll talk softly about it. You know, hiss his teeth every now and again, say, "Man, this need help with this," you know. But he isn't one who's going to make a lot of noise about it. But I know he is hurt and disappointed at the state we're in at this time, and he is hopeful and happy for whatever assistance is right now.
You know, we're going to come back with just taking another look at another face, because you see, when we find ourselves in a position that is unexpected, there's one of my mentors, his name is Al Colley, and he would say, "Debbie, always safe, not for if it happens, but when it happens. You can always face adversities that will impact your finances, and you need a little nest." We're going to just look at one or two other faces before we go and visit with Mr. Roll to his home, so that you can see, because I was extremely encouraged, and this is the power of team. One of the administrators in the office of the minister, I was asking some questions, and prompted by this team here, Monique McKenzie, who you'll meet next, Eartha Shallow. And you know why I'm calling names, and Deborah Smith, you know why? Even we sometimes forget the role of everybody on the team. We like just go straight to the top, because there is value in going through a process and a protocol. And when the staff members who heard about Mr. Roll's unfortunate demise, Miss Edwards said, why don't you call DRM? And then Miss McKinsey said, I work on that committee. And we called. And they were so enthusiastic. That's what you talk about, community. Oh, yes, no. We're traveling into Exuma, this, that, and the next. We can help each other succeed. When we come back, we're going to talk about how we can prepare so that we can be more resilient when we are met with the unexpected challenges. I'm going to borrow a line for those of you who weren't born yet. I used to have a show called Reaction for Every Cause. There's an effect. For every action, a reaction. Let us continue to build this country and restore the spirit of family. We'll be back in a moment.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
Welcome back. I want to introduce you to yet another chief social worker doing a phenomenal job. I was especially encouraged by the recent back to school initiative that they did in Pitt Road. But again, she has included in her portfolio is dealing with the homeless. Want to welcome you. Welcome. Listen, you all did such a great job at Pitt Road with the back to school. Both you and Smith were there. Tell us about that before we go into what is contributing to homelessness.
Quickly, in a nutshell, we were able to give out 250 backpacks fully loaded, along with the top 3 students. They all got tablets. And so we were so elated to reach that milestone within the Horseshoe Drive Center.
How did you pay for that?
Well, the department, along with some good sponsors.
And we want to say thanks to that humanitarian spirit that still exists in our country, and sometimes we don't give you enough credit for the partnership and the work that you contribute to community development. But I had an aunt, the late Eunice Sands, Eunice Rogers, Eunice Bethel. She was an entrepreneur and a very successful one. And she was always saying, you better get ready. If you don't get ready, you don't get to go. And I really interpret that as preparation means to get ready. And there's no one in life that goes through this journey that does not have challenges. And so we're not just sitting here. We want to be a part of the solution, to restore, to strengthen, to expand stability in our homes, in our communities, in our nation. So there is this disturbing trend of homelessness. And, we're also going to talk a little bit about the children. Every decision we make has a consequence tomorrow. So when we make the wrong decisions as parents, as grandparents, it displaces the children. And so let's go to the root from their perspective on what are the other contributing factors to homelessness. Ms. McKinsey, welcome.
Thank you again.
And listen, tell us from your perspective, because you deal more with community, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The Horseshoe Drive Center.
Okay.
So we see a lot of homelessness persons as a result of being unemployed, or their rental arrears are so high they were evicted. Family members, that structure has deteriorated. And so as a result, they were asked to leave the home. And so we see a lot of persons who are now coming, they're either living in their vehicles or there's nobody who can assist. And inclusive of this, we now also seeing homelessness from persons who were deported from the United States or wherever they were.
My. So when they deported from the United States, what do you do?
Well, the thing is, so many of them sometimes just do not even have proper documents. But
Well, how you know you're from the Bahamas?
they would come with a Bahamian passport, for example, when they were about 7 or 8 years old. So that's our basis that we would use to say that, yes, they are Bahamian, because, we only give shelters really to Bahamians.
So when people say we have a lot of illegal immigrants in our centers, is that correct?
No, ma'am. Everybody who is receiving shelter and the various assistance that we offer, they have to present a Bahamian passport or voter's card. Not even your national insurance card or driver's license we would use, because those two identifications does not substantiate that you are a Bahamian.
So you have the unemployed. You have government workers.
Yes, ma'am.
Behind their immediate need for shelter. What have you found? And I wanted both you and Ms. Smith to share on that. What's the root of the problem there? Ms. Smith?
Maxed out salaries.
Maxed out salaries?
Yes, ma'am.
You agree?
I concur. We are not good stewards of our income. And we have to begin to live within a budget. There are so many new lending agencies. They are popping up for a reason, because it's lucrative. And we are falling prey to that. And I sometimes say, it may sound hard to say, now, when you are signing on the dotted line to receive them $2, that's going to come out of your salary. You are further depleting your ability to pay your rent. You are further depleting your ability to take care of your children. Now, your God-given right is to take care of them. You don't have shelter for them. That's neglect. And so we try to say to them, no, let's look and see how best we could assist you. But in the meantime, we still provide the shelter for them.
Give us a glimpse of when you say that salary deductions is really what I'm hearing you say. Salary deductions. I want both of you to, hearing is believing, right? It's on one way to say, okay, the salary deduction's too high. But give us an example of, you said, Ms. Smith, we are not good financial stewards.
Oh, we are not.
Explain that based on the facts that you have in your hands.
And that's at all levels. I think sometimes we look at the minimum pay persons, persons like the janitresses, the receptionists, and the lower level jobs. But no, it's at all levels. Some persons bring in $5,000 a month and they're taking home $1,400. Out of that, there is not a mortgage. So, what?
Out of that is not a mortgage. So their deductibles up to $1,400. You make $5,000. What do they spend it on? Go ahead, Ms. McKenzie.
Well, here I actually brought something that I can actually look at. And this person who is a government employee, over $2,000 is their salary. And out of that, $1,600 plus are deducted. Where is it going? Commonwealth Bank, Fidelity, Greenleaf, Easy Payday. And so you only leave now at a base of $407 to live off. Because these loans are not just a month or two. They are for at least 2-3 X amount of years. And so now you're faced with just this $407 to pay rent, take care of the kids, and so forth. So poor money management is definitely.
And, oh boy, $400. Do they have children? Are they single?
The children.
With children?
Yes.
What's your experience, Ms. Smith?
Same. The same thing. And you know, the difficulty also with that is when we try to speak to them and say, let's look at how you could fix this, give it options. They think you're getting in their business. I didn't come here for that. But the thing about it is we treat you holistically. You have an issue, and your issue is poor money management. Now, if they're consumer loans, that is saying to me that you are you're prioritizing your wants instead of your needs. And so we are now left to find somewhere for you to go. We are now left to figure out how to work with you. And so there could be one client, and we are here for this service, and we sometimes, clients sometimes find themselves in these situations, maybe because their spouse died, or they had an accident, or they have some illnesses. Not that. That'd be good. We know. We're going to work with you to the point where you become independent. But when you will willingly go into those institutions aren't concerned about you, you know. They're concerned about your bottom dollar. And you fall into their prey. You fall right into the trap. Yeah. Christmas is going to come in a minute, and they do something called top up. You won't be able to get a seat in those institutions because of the people who will be there trying to get money to buy gifts for people who even like them.
Does that speak to our understanding, our character? I'm hearing you say throughout the program that you have problems even having families support other families when we make wrong decisions or when life happens that we did not anticipate and maybe we didn't even contribute to. Like you said, there's some people you can't anticipate sickness and the impact on your finances. There's always an exception to the rule. But you are clearly seeing an abuse when we talk about consumer. And I mean, just before you answer that, when you say consumer, what do you mean in terms of what do you, both of you find they're spending their money on to leave $400 left?
Vacation.
Well,
vacation.
Yes, vacation, definitely.
You can't afford to go on a vacation if you have to go to an institution to help you. You cannot.
And so if you have $400 left, what about the landlords? Do you find that people are being evicted because they can't pay their rent? And what's the attitude of the tenant to the landlord? Or they say you have to go?
Yes, ma'am. Persons are being evicted, it seems, almost every day. Because at the Horseshoe Drive Center, we can have up to 8 to 10 families, talking with new persons, coming in, seeking shelter. And
A day? 8 to 10 families a
not
day?
every day, but
Oh,
on a given day.
Yes.
But every week, we can, in a 5-day period, wrap up to at least 10 in total. new. I'm not talking about the ones who are already in shelter and coming for extension. I'm talking about new persons. For the month of September alone, we would have had a total of 48 families coming in seeking shelter for the month of September. So what I'm saying is this homelessness is really, really getting the
Widespread.
point where I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with the government trying to being able to keep up with providing shelter for so many homeless people.
And let's talk a minute about that implication for the children. And I just got a call this weekend, and we had somebody who was living in a car with, and they have 11 in the family, plus husband and wife. Do you all find that?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't have a family. I had a family of 6 and then another family of 8, but there were no space. And so the biggest we have is like 2 bedrooms, and that's only few. Majority are like 1 bedrooms.
And I'm also getting calls that, landlords are not taking children.
No, ma'am. That's another thing that we are now realizing, that families who could afford a little something because of the number of children that they have a difficulty finding a home, a landlord who's willing to say, okay, I would take your family.
Oh boy.
What do you do?
What do you do? But I don't think there's any one place you and I can put the full blame, let's be honest now. Because if we were to depend fully on the government to meet all of the needs created by our mistakes, we'll be in a welfare state. No?
And guess what?
Yeah.
Horseshoe Drive Center is only one of the centers.
How many
You
centers?
got Fox Hill, you got Wolf Road, you got Robinson Road.
You got domestic violence. You get the hotline. You get health
Family
social
Island.
services. You have family islands. They all culminate.
Good God Almighty. Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's come together as a Bahamian people. We have a strong foundation of Christian values where we help each other succeed. That's being undermined. We could get it back, though. There's a lot of us that know and experience and still live that way. When we come back, we're going to make it our mission for this show to help Kendrick Roll. And he just represents the spirit of what we are trying to spread throughout the country. And we heard that Urban Renewal is working feverishly to support, and we are going to meet with, and you sit on that board as well, with the Disaster Risk Management Authority. And so next week, I want you to be sure to watch it. And the next segment, we're going to leave the studio here at the Department of Social Services. And I want you to join us as we travel now to Pinewood, to the home of the project manager here, Kendrick Roll, who is blind. See you in a moment. Right, we're here in Pinewood, and we're going to meet the father of Kendrick Roll, Mr. Curtis. He's catching some of this sun. How you doing? You doing good?
Yes, ma'am.
And I see you got your church shoes out here.
Yeah, 'cause I let some water drip with it.
You letting the water come out of it. Yes, your son was so concerned about you as Imelda, Tropical Storm Imelda passed. What was that experience like?
Oh, I ain't too good. Not with water. Rain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, plenty of water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was that like going through that time of storm?
But during the time I was living here, this was ever it. In this area. A lot of water from the one end of the corner and the next end.
And you happy now that there's some help on the way?
I appreciate it very much. Very much. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right, I'm going to go inside to meet with your son so that we can get a
Yeah.
tour.
Sure,
While
go
you
ahead.
catch the
Go
fresh air, we
Yeah.
could go inside?
Go ahead.
Well, I thank you very much. All righty now, Mr. Roll is here. Knock, knock, knock. How are you? Happy to be alive. You would remember these panelists. So we have come.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me. You look like a queen sitting there. Wow. Yes. And look, I just love how you have your home so nicely decorated.
Decorated.
Well, you see how nice the furniture is? Yes. Yeah, so give us a tour.
So the flooding, over the years, we was able to do a little for about the flooding by putting the rock down low, so the flooding wasn't much of an issue. But when I was explaining, I was in the room, and when I came out here, this is what we met. As you can see, the concrete roof is starting to drop down, and it bites through the sheetrock. And I can guarantee you, all where you still see sheetrock up, concrete is already been beaten down on that. So it's just a matter of time before it starts bursting through, especially if we continue to have rainy weather.
And can you all smell the...
And
You can still
smell the wetness from the water.
So the moisture... Oh, is it feeling different now that you're here?
Actually seeing it.
Actually seeing it, what is the
seeing the
difference?
You can
devastation.
imagine if your eyes are closed and you just hear that crashing down,
Yeah.
and
So you're not
everything
sure
was just
what's
breaking
going
up.
on.
You don't know
And
where
you're
it's
not
gonna
sure,
come
right? You're not sure of where dad
Don't know
was
where
and all of
dad
that. Exactly.
from. And then when the same thing happened in his room.
Let's go and see the room for a moment. And you know, the other thing about this is you can smell it really heavy, the moisture. I mean, it's a little dangerous to be in here, I think, inhaling. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Okay, so we are in the father's room. And is this where your father was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Can you imagine? I just want us to think this is just one home. When we think about hurricane, we may expect this. We don't think about this as a tropical storm. Do you think about it? I don't think so. No. But can you imagine? What is your response? When this is where Mr. Curtis, we just met him outside. This is where he was sleeping, and this, look at Miss Blackman. Look at the hole in the roof, and he is laying in the bed. Good God Almighty! No, but you know what it is? It could only be the grace of God. Only the grace of God. Yes.
The concrete pieces are actually in the bed.
And his legs could have been there. His head could have been down. You know, sometimes you sleep at the end of the bed,
Correct.
to the top of the bed.
Correct.
As we were coming in, there's a gentleman, and we're not going to be here long, and I'm going to ask, I don't want to put Deborah Smith and Monique McKenzie on the spot, but he asked us to come and look at his house. So we only have a few minutes left, and we wish we could get to every house. But we just want to see us Bahamians. Look, man, and can you imagine the Family Islands? What we cannot see? We have to pull together. We gotta pull this together. Not pointing the finger, but the thumb. And how we can come together and help each Bahamian to get back on their feet. Let's go and meet the other neighbor.
So what we're going to do, we're going to get Mr. Roll a place for him and his father while we are working with Urban Renewal to see how quickly they can make those repairs, because it's very dangerous. The roof is crumbling and the jagged edges of the roof is coming down.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to work quickly.
Yeah. Well, what do you feel? How do they live in here? I can hardly breathe. I need to get out here.
Yeah, so we're going to try and get him out. We're going
Yes.
to get them out and place them.
Yes, thank you. Isn't that good? How do you feel about that?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Just as long as Dad is happy, I'll survive. I'm young, so I'm much younger. I'm more concerned about him being happy.
But isn't that what we want? Yeah. We want family. You hear what he's saying? He is honoring, and as a matter of fact, senior citizens is coming up. He is honoring his father. Honor your father and your mother. And you say, what kind of mother? No kind of mother. So your days may be long. Let's go and meet the neighbor.
I catching hell. Every time the rain come, I catching hell. So you all need to come see my place and fix it for me, man. That's a hill there, right? And then when the water come down, it come up. Come in here. See? Come up. All around there. You see the wet?
Yes.
See? See the wet? And not only that, I get a leak there. I get a leak here. See the concrete drop out. I get a leak right there. See where the wood rot? You see?
So now, but here's what I would like us to do. I would like you to understand the different roles and see this is social services. What the social services and can social services do to assist? What is your name?
Wallace Brennan.
Do you work?
No, ma'am. I'm on disability. See, I had a stroke.
Oh, you had a stroke.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't look like you had a stroke. You look good.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What is it that we can do at social services?
Well, first of all, who's the owner of the home? Because that plays a very important role when coming to housing repair. Because that plays a very important role in terms of when you're applying for the rental assistance.
Yes,
you need to show ownership, some documents.
But ma'am, like I say, the place belongs to me and my brother and sister. I get 2 other brothers, me and 1 sister. You see?
So is that something that you usually encounter with not having proof of papers and ownership?
Well, when I worked in urban renewal, that was one of the issues that caused delayed in terms of assistance being rendered, because they want to establish and make sure ownership. Because when they would have gone and repair homes, the real owner comes and evict them, put them out when the home has already been repaired. And so that's one of the reasons why the criteria is, you should have your documents to show ownership.
Do you have your papers?
I don't know, because it's a fight over the place. You understand what I'm saying? It's a fight over the place.
You reached out to urban renewal?
Well, no, ma'am.
We'll make that your first step.
To urban renewal?
Yes, sir.
Down here?
Yeah, Pinewood.
Well, I thought you all connect with that now.
No, we are not.
So urban renewal is not together with social services like how it used to be.
So come down there.
So you go right up the road to the Pinewood office.
Yes, ma'am.
And let them know of your situation, and then I'm sure they will see how best they could work something out to assist.
Thank you, okay, Mr. Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you for taking care of your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
They say honor your mother and your father, so what? Your days may be long.
Yes,
may your days be long. God bless you. All right. This is it for taking social services to the people. And it is really, really so sad. And we're talking about the faces of homelessness. But it's getting down to the root, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, what was the root when we went into Mr. Wallace? What do you see as the root?
Well, family support again. Families are not looking out for each other, it seems. It seems as though once you die and you go on, your siblings no longer want to be there for each other. So it seemed to me.
And the expectation, but there's, Miss Smith, I want your take on it too, but because we just have a few minutes left, but we get angry and sometimes misappropriate who is at fault. What did you see?
I think so. Because if for this gentleman who was the caregiver for his parents, and at the end of the day, and that's what he is saying to us. And based on what he's saying to us, if he was the caregiver for his parents, then I think more effort should have been made on the deceased to make sure he is properly cared for. What we see there today is degradation. We see a breakdown of family, we see a house crumbling, and with the tropical storm made it more difficult. And so, again, it goes back to process. So once process goes through, then possibly he could get some assistance, because it seemed as if it was left for a very, very long time when it got to that stage.
Well, that's it for us, and isn't it kind of almost ironically invigorating to agree on what the root cause? Because to move forward, it's like vision. We have to be personally governed by a vision. Vision means the future you would like to live in, the future you and your family should live in, the future that your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, who you won't meet, that we have enough love, that we prepare, we make ready, we make provision through our will, through expressing our intent, through helping us to be great stewards, because we were born to be owners, stewards of our destiny. And when we need help, we come to the government agencies to facilitate and help us get through that bad patch that we all will go through. And so when we do that, we can move from, because your dignity is not in dependency. It's no sin, it's no shame in being dependent, but that is not our permanent residency. So we're here to help each other move from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. We love you, and together we can do it. See you next time on Taking Social Services to the People.
This has been a production of the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, where we move our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
At the 66 Steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. The Prime Minister is urging preparedness as weather officials track Hurricane Melissa. Also, urban renewal officials throw their support behind the biometric card rollout. And police on Abaco investigate an alleged attempted arson.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news with an eye on Hurricane Melissa. Before addressing matters at home, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis began by extending his deepest thoughts and prayers to brothers and sisters in the Caribbean countries of Jamaica, Cuba, Dominican Republic and Haiti as they face the full force of Hurricane Melissa. Prime Minister Davis highlighting that the people of the Bahamas are aware of the fear and uncertainty that comes with the storm of that magnitude.
In contact, with Prime Minister Andrew Holness of Jamaica earlier to personally extend the support of my government and the Bahamian people and to join other Caribbean leaders in offering any assistance we can provide. Across the Caribbean, we share more than geography. We share a bond of resilience, faith, and strength in adversity. Today, that spirit of regional unity guides our response and our compassion.
Moreover, Prime Minister Davis says the Bahamas Department of Meteorology is advising that Hurricane Melissa is forecast to begin affecting the southeast Bahamas early Tuesday morning, with conditions deteriorating through Wednesday.
Following the advice of the Disaster Risk Management Authority and the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, my government has decided to issue formal evacuation notices for residents in the islands of Inagua, Acklands, Crooked Island, Maguana, and Ragged Island. This notice is being issued out of an abundance of caution to ensure that those most at risk can be safely relocated before conditions worsen.
Meanwhile, Hurricane Melissa is forecast to be the strongest storm to hit Jamaica to date, and residents here on the island are sending their prayers and best wishes to our neighbors in the Caribbean as the system continues its slow-moving trek. Shane Stubbs has more in this report.
I've taken the time for all those who I know in Jamaica to message them and let them know we've been praying for you and that God would protect you.
As Hurricane Melissa slowly barrels its way to Jamaica as a major hurricane, it's forecasted to reach Category 5 strength, which would make it the strongest storm to hit the country to date. That's enough for residents here on the island to feel the angst, as it's an all too familiar feeling following their experience with Hurricane Dorian 6 years ago.
We know what it is to go through it, and all we could do right now is pray for them. We pray that everything goes well for them and everybody be safe.
You know, Abaco experienced it, Grand Bahama experienced it. We lost lives, and we pray that we don't lose no lives in Jamaica.
We can only imagine. We know what they're going through. So I advise them to listen to the warnings, trust God, and batten down and secure yourself.
It's especially an anxious time for a few residents with relatives living down in Jamaica. While it appears some could not evacuate in time, they are remaining faithful that their loved ones will be divinely protected.
I have a sister and two of our children. They live in Jamaica. And I have an elder also that I spoke with this morning, and I prayed with him. And we know God is able.
Yeah.
He is well able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think.
To all my friends in Jamaica, you all be safe and hunker down. And if anybody know me, call me if anything you all need, if it gets, kind of bad.
But while prayers protect, there are some who know firsthand what the aftermath is like and say that empathy will be the most important in the aftermath.
I know from where I stand and our churches, we're going to do whatever we can to help in the aftermath.
I know we have our shares of difficulties, but I pray that the Bahamas can lend a hand and give some assistance in any way.
Now, once the storm passes Jamaica, it is expected to impact parts of the southern Bahamas. Now, while details on what strength the storm will be at is unclear at this moment in time, it is something government officials say they are closely monitoring. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Thanks, Shane. Our thoughts and prayers certainly goes out to those countries in the storm's path. In other news, more than 800 Grand Bahamians have already completed the new voter verification process. And today, Senator Kirk Russell and his urban renewal team joined the list as the government moves to strengthen transparency in upcoming elections. Raylan Davis reports.
Deputy Director of Urban Renewal, Senator Kirkland Russell, along with his team, joined a growing list of residents completing the new voter verification process on Grand Bahama. So far, officials say more than 800 people on the island have been verified as the government moves to modernize and strengthen the electoral system.
I have agreed to accept the biometric card, and so I'm just here to encourage the public, encourage the Bahamas, Grand Bahama in particular, to come on out and verify. And I will encourage persons to also accept the biometric card. The information is simply the information that already exists on your passport, and the information will just be transferred from your passport to your biometric card.
Senator Russell says the new system is a major step toward accuracy and transparency in elections, eliminating many of the errors that come with paper-based systems.
The days of the paper cards are outdated. There is a great possibility for human mistakes, and that is why you have so much challenges and these kind of things at the polls.
Biometric process, which uses either facial recognition or fingerprint scanning, also promises to make voting faster and more secure.
Actually, once I gave them my passport, I was amazed that they actually brought up my house. They simply asked me if my telephone number has changed, if my address had changed, and so the process took me, I would say, about 3 minutes.
Around 40 staff members took part in the exercise on Monday, and as election talks heat up around country, Senator Russell is urging companies and organizations to allow their employees time to do the same.
Give the staff the time that they may need to come on down to do this. Of course, we have satellite registration centers all across the island at various schools and churches.
Now, town hall meetings to explain the verification and registration process were scheduled across the island this week, but will be rescheduled due to weather and other delays. Those sessions will give residents the chance to ask questions and learn more about the biometric system directly from parliamentary registration staff. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, police on Abaco are investigating an alleged attempted arson that occurred on Sunday, the 26th of October, 2025 in Murphytown. Preliminary reports indicate that shortly after midnight, a male allegedly threw an object containing an unknown substance towards a residence. The object landed on a grassy area, igniting a fire that spread towards the home. The fire was subsequently extinguished and no injuries or damages were reported. The investigation into this matter continues.
And still to come.
Educators come together for a district seminar focused on excellence and wellness in education. Those stories plus sports and more when we come back.
#1 team in the north. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Educators across Grand Bahama gathering at the Forster B. Pistina Hall, Christ the King Church on Thursday for the annual District Professional Development Seminar held under the theme Building Capacity, Raising Standards, Creating a Culture of Excellence. The hall was filled with teachers, administrators, and union leaders representing 21 schools across Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Keys District. It was truly a day of empowerment focused on inspiring educators, promoting holistic health and wellness, and fostering professional growth in the ongoing pursuit of excellence. Officials noted that one of the key goals for the district is to continue promoting health and well-being among educators as part of building a stronger, more resilient education community.
We firmly believe that when our leaders and our teachers are equipped with the knowledge, skills, and attitudes, they will execute their professional duties at a high standard. And of course, we know that when leadership is effective in schools, teachers will be empowered. We want to make sure we give them that opportunity, provide them with skills and strategies that can assist them in being well so that they can serve our students in our classrooms.
The health and wellness segment featuring local health professionals who shared practical tips on managing stress and caring for the body, while keynote speaker Pastor Carl Maycock encouraged educators to strengthen their spiritual fitness as part of overall well-being.
We should be getting our regular exercise. What does that mean? At least 5 days a week, at least 20 to 30 minutes at a time, and we're talking about something regular.
I would be neglectful if I didn't say you should have a good relationship with your pastor. You should have a good relationship with a mental health professional, and you should have a good relationship with your banker and a lawyer.
If you believe that what you're doing as educators, if you believe that it's virtuous and it's valuable to this nation and to the next generation, then Satan will do everything to divide you. He will use your emotional exhaustion and your fatigue to disrupt, and if there is no unity, you are DOA, dead on arrival. And so there must be clarity.
Well, it was all about culture, community, and celebration this weekend as the Ministry of Tourism joined forces with the annual Freetown Committee for the 3rd annual Oktoberfest. From live music to traditional eats, residents and visitors came together to enjoy the sights, sounds, and flavors of Bahamian hospitality.
Laughter, live music, and the aroma of Bahamian favorites filled the air as the Ministry of Tourism and the annual Freetown Committee hosted their 3rd annual Oktoberfest. The event continues to bring the community together, blending culture, entertainment, and island hospitality in one festive evening.
It's very important for the Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation to once again host Oktoberfest in Freetown so that we can assist the residents of the community, invite the visitors into the community. Well, people usually come to the festivals to find the delicious Bahamian food and all of the cuisines that they can indulge in on this day. So the vendors are my most favorite part of putting together a festival.
The event drew support from local leaders who highlighted the festival's growing impact and urges residents to keep the tradition alive.
It is critically important to have these events in East Grand Bahama, but particularly Freetown, as it showcases our rich cultural and the history of who we are as Bahamian and who we are as persons from Old Freetown.
We are so pleased that all of the folks are here. East Grand Bahama, in my view, is the best constituency, and so we have the best festivals. So we just want to welcome everybody to come.
When you come out here and you mingle with the Bahamian people, with the Grand Bahamians from East End, it is simply awesome. And listen, we're getting some breeze out here. Whether you have a complicated texture of hair, you're good. Whether you've got a better texture of hair, you're also good. Come on out, enjoy this festival because it is a wonderful time.
Some attendees we spoke with called the event a success, saying it's been an enjoyable experience from start to finish.
This is fantastic for this area, East End. You know, of course, there is the Coconut Fest up in Pelican Point, but this is another dimension that is fantastic. And people just need to come out and see what it's all about.
We are so blessed to be here, like really. This food is hot. The food is delicious, and I got my new auntie, my new sister, okay? So just like come out and visit and really get to know the community so you can really taste the real Bahama.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
No place like East End. It's now time to ask the doctor.
Bullying has become common in the schools. What are some of the types of bullying? In the majority of cases, it is physical. It can involve hitting, shoving, or kicking. Physical bullying may be what first comes to mind when adults think about it. The most common form for both boys and girls is verbal bullying, for example, name-calling. Cyberbullying is a growing concern and involves the use of cell phones, instant messaging, email, chat rooms, or social networking sites. It can include making threats, sending inappropriate insults, racial or ethnic slurs, as well as gay bashing. If you're a child or teen and you've been a victim of any type of bullying, please speak to a parent, teacher, or another adult that you trust. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
Making news. Shane, what's happening in sports?
Well, all the top juniors around the country came over to the island for the Focal Junior Tennis Tournament.
Sure, this island?
Yeah, this island.
All right, that's coming away next after the weather.
The DRM Authority 2025 Official Hurricane Shelter List. Acklands Community Center, Spring Point. Crooked Island, Church of God of Prophecy, Landrail Point, Richmond, Mosstown, and Cripple Hill residents, Cripple Hill. Landrail Point Community Center, Landrail Point. Inagua, St. Philip's Anglican Community Center, Matthew Town. Meiguana, St. James Native Baptist Church, Abrams Bay. Meiguana Comprehensive K School, Pirates Well. Betsy Bay Community Center, Betsy Bay.
happening, ladies and gents? I'm Shane Stubbs with your evening sports outlook. Leading off the Focal Junior National Tennis Tournament brought all the big rackets from throughout the country to the YMCA over the weekend. And turns out when you put national points up for grabs, it brings the best out of the players. And if you don't believe me, take it from Tournament Director Danny Rigby.
This is a BLTA sanctioned tournament, and all the kids, get their ranking points. And then also, this is also a UTR event, which the kids can get UTR point, United States Tennis rating. So in case they go to the United States, they have a ranking that they can put in.
Now let's get to the results. The boys under 12 title would be won by Oliver Van Onselen, who defeated Graydon Glassman. Rebecca Patan would secure both the under 12 and under 14 girls titles. Jalea Clark was the runner-up for the under 12 girls, while Victoria Sandy Aguilar would be the runner-up in the under 14 and under 16 girls divisions. Julius Williams became the under 14 boys champion, defeating Kingston Rees. Sinaj Watkins prevailed as the under 16 boys champ, defeating Aiden Ritchie to do so, but Ritchie would bounce back to win the under 18 boys title. Jocelyn Salke would lock up the under 16 girls title, and Shalisa Clark would defeat Sarai Clark to add another under 18 girls title to her mantle. Lighting it up off the bench next is Valdez VJ Edgecombe. Fresh off his historic debut against the Boston Celtics, the third overall pick made his home debut for the Philadelphia 76ers. He offered up a big plate of Bahamian home cooking. You won points, he gave you 15. You won rebounds, he grabbed 6 of them. He even shared the wealth, serving up 8 assists in their 125-121 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. The Sixers are back in action tonight against the Orlando Magic. Lastly, speaking of athletes from the North making some noise, Franco Miller Jr. is one step closer to the NBA. The Grand Bahama native was the 27th pick in round 2 of the NBA G League draft, where he'll be joining the Santa Cruz Warriors. The Tabernacle product last led the Bahamas national team in scoring and now looks to add that same flair with the Golden State Warriors affiliate. That's my time, ladies and gents, but your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Shane Stubbs. Get you on the rebound.
Welcome to What's Trending. Join me, Jiminita Swain.
And me, The Bahama Beauty, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m.
Only on the ZNS Network.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that is going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Right now at 11, Melissa expected to touch down in the southeastern and central Bahamas. Evacuation of residents in those vulnerable areas getting underway. Prime Minister Davis tonight urging the nation to prepare. Basil tonight is standing by with the very latest on the storm's path. A stunning find in the Marshall Road area, a baby found in bushes. Luckily, the baby boy was found alive, and doctors believe he'll be just fine. And day in court for the man police believed killed his pregnant lover. Those stories plus the day's other news this late night, Monday, October 27th, 2025.
The Bahamas tonight at 11. The final word starts now.
And we're glad to have you with us on this very busy Monday late night. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Well, as Hurricane Melissa inches closer to the Bahamas, all efforts being made to move residents in the projected path of danger to safety. Lloyd Allen has been posted in Inagua. He's leading us off here at 11 with how many residents have heeded the call to get out.
Monday, signs of sea swells and busy streets the same on Inagua as residents prepare for an expected impact of Hurricane Melissa, now pegged as a catastrophic hurricane with winds near the center in excess of 175 miles per hour. Following that address earlier Monday by Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis on Hurricane Melissa and its possible impact to the Bahamas, a number of islands identified as evacuation zones, including Inagua.
The Bahamas Department of Meteorology has advised that Hurricane Melissa is forecast to begin affecting the southeast Bahamas by early Tuesday morning, with conditions deteriorating through Wednesday as the storm tracks across the area.
Island Administrator Kiwana Gibson says efforts began a few days ago in preparation for this event.
Preparations would have begun from about Saturday because we wanted to get ahead of it with watching the storm. So we would have sent a message to the community to get a general interest of who would be interested in going on any evacuation flight should an evacuation order be issued. And so at last count, we were roughly looking at a little over 500 residents that would have expressed interest in being evacuated.
Gibson also indicating that an accident unrelated to the hurricane occurred on Gregory Street, a major thoroughfare on the island, leading to a temporary cut in power supply.
There has been an accident. However, BPL has been dispatched and is currently working on having the necessary repairs made.
Residents also flocked to the Inagua airport, hoping to get on that initial evacuation flight, like construction worker Derek Lang.
Today, on Monday, we got the call that we should be to the airport, and the flight is for 1:30. And most people who on this flight is to be here. But on the next flight is for 5:45, so anyone else will get the call to be here for 5:45. And the plane is here, and we are on our way out.
That is our Lloyd Allen reporting from Inagua for us tonight. Well, as you heard, there were a number of flights ferrying residents from the southern Bahamas today. They flew aboard Bahamas Air and charter flights from Inagua and Auckland, where hundreds have made the decision to evacuate. Simone Murphy and fisherman Dennis Burnside, both from Inagua, spoke with us upon their arrival to the capital today.
On Saturday, we were told to come to the administrative office to write down our name if we wanted to evacuate. And then we saw on notices this morning that the flight was coming, so we just made the necessary preparation to come. And at the airport, there was a bit of confusion, but everything got sorted.
Do you have accommodations here in Nassau?
Pardon me?
Do you have accommodations?
Oh, yes. My mother lives in Nassau. I'm an educator that lives on the island, yes.
So you were told to get out today, right?
Yes, well, I was in Dorian the last time, Dorian at Abaco. I was living in Abaco, and so I don't want to be nowhere around no hurricane. So when I heard this, I was the first person that had my name down to get out of there.
The government is continuing to airlift citizens to safety, evacuating 67 from Jamaica this past Friday. However, many Bahamians are hunkering down for Hurricane Melissa after their flight out of Montego Bay was canceled. Among them, Senator the Honorable Darren Henfield, who attended a wedding. In 2019, he sheltered in Abaco during the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Dorian.
We have a lot of people here who've gone through Dorian and from Grand Bahama and from Abaco. And we're hunkered down and ready to go. They've done some shopping yesterday where they went out and bought some stuff to keep in their rooms. And the hotel has put in place its hurricane protocol in preparation. They had a meeting with us yesterday instructing what would happen. And yeah, we're just here and asking the Bahamians to continue to pray for not only us, but to pray for Jamaica.
Meantime, Foreign Affairs Minister the Honorable Fred Mitchell confirming that a Bahamas Air aircraft has been deployed to Jamaica to evacuate 76 Bahamians ahead of Hurricane Melissa. However, not everyone chose to leave. Several citizens have elected to stay behind and have since been briefed by the Consul General on safety protocols as the storm approaches. While officials are unsure of the exact number of Bahamians still on that island, it's estimated that roughly 200 students, including medical students, are currently studying there.
Yesterday, the commercial flight of Bahamas Air goes into Montego Bay, which is in the north. That flight had to be canceled because at noon the airport in Montego Bay closed. 60 Bahamians were supposed to come home on that flight, and therefore they are in Jamaica and cannot leave until the all clear is given. We suspect the all clear will be Friday or Saturday. Many of them appealed to the government that they did not have the means to support themselves for these additional days, which are unexpected. So the government again has stepped in. We've spoken to the Jamaican government, spoken to the hotel, and we're making arrangements for them to be able to be supported while they're there having those extra days in the hotel.
Still with our coverage here on Hurricane Melissa, advisories have also gone out to Bahamians living in Haiti and Cuba, urging them to remain vigilant as Hurricane Melissa tracks west. He's advising Bahamians to follow the instructions of local officials, be prepared to move if necessary, and contact Bahamian embassies and consulates for immediate assistance. He's adamant that now is not the time to take risk.
They expect major rainfall and flooding. So one of the proposals is people have to be prepared to move. There are, under the laws of the Bahamas, emergency evacuation orders, and once those orders are given, everybody's got to go. So we are seeking to mobilize with our international partners and with Bahamas Air the possibility of moving people to safer grounds, which largely will mean New Providence, because what they're saying is that the weather will not reach hurricane force here. So this will be safer ground for people if they can move.
Literally some light at the end of the tunnel for residents in the Southeast Bahamas as power has been fully restored on Crooked Island following a week-long blackout there. At the root of it, mechanical failures to 2 generation units earlier this month. Here's BPL's Southern Regional Manager, Pedro Marcelo.
At noon today, supply was fully restored to all consumers in the Crooked Island area, following the loss of 1 generator on Sunday of last week, and the other on two days later, on Tuesday of last week. On Wednesday of last week, we were able to secure a unit from M&E in Nassau, and not until Friday that unit was able to leave Nassau because of logistics issues that we incurred due to the impending Hurricane Melissa conditions from that. On Friday, around 11 a.m., that unit started its journey via the MV Vinez into Crooked Island. And on Sunday afternoon, Sunday past, yesterday, that unit arrived safely into Crooked Island around 2 p.m. Unfortunately, it was too late for M&E to send a team down there to commission that unit. That team departed New Providence this morning at 7:30.
And this late night, the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training has announced the temporary closure of schools in the southern Bahamas in preparation for Hurricane Melissa's landfall. The islands affected are Long Island, Ramkey, San Salvador, Ragged Island, Crooked Island, Acklins, Meguana, and Inagua. Education officials will continue to monitor the storm closely and issue timely updates based on Met Office advisories. There is much more to stay up for this late night. Still to come, a suspect charged in connection with last week's killing of a pregnant woman. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight at 11. That story plus the day's other news on the other side of the break.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations, excluding the airport and food truck.
To some of the day's other news now this late night. A 6 pound, 7 ounces baby boy said to be in stable condition tonight following a pretty rough start to life. Abandoned by his mother in bushes in the Marshall Road area, nurses have already given him the name Joshua, Moses' successor. LaDawn Davis was at that scene of the infant's shocking discovery.
It was shortly after 9 this morning when resident Acharo Gator was walking in the area on Marshall Road when he heard the piercing screams of a newborn baby boy from bushes nearby.
I was on my way heading back from where I came, and then all of a sudden the rain came down and I heard this baby crying inside the bush, and being able to recognize, babies cry. When I look, I saw the baby just humped over inside the bush.
ZNS News arrived on the scene shortly after the discovery, followed by the police who conducted their initial investigation. A few minutes later, the ambulance arrived and transported the baby boy to the hospital for further medical treatment. But Gator says what disturbed him most was that the bloody umbilical cord was still wrapped around the newborn baby boy's neck, signaling that it was just a few hours old. Gator, a father of 3, says he immediately thanked God.
I just started praying for the baby. So at the same time I was calling the authorities, I was praying for the baby at the same time, praying that the baby shall live and represent the kingdom of God. That was my initial response to it.
Area Member of Parliament Leroy Major appealed to the mother and others thinking about committing a similar act.
It's very sad to know that a mother could carry a baby for such a long time and then abandon the baby in the back of Marshall Road. This area is known as a very quiet area, and it is sad to know that on this day that we come and we find a baby. But I want to make a plea to the mother. We know that she may be going through some pain, some hurts, but we want to call out to her that reach out to the authorities.
The infant is still undergoing a medical evaluation. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, that viral social media video of a woman assaulting a child this past Friday ends in a court appearance for the 30-year-old accused. Appearing before Magistrate Kara Turnquest today was Leandra Kemp. It is alleged that while in her care, custody, and control, the number 53 Cordell Avenue resident assaulted a 7-year-old in a manner that caused her unnecessary suffering or injury to health. Kemp was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections without bail until January 21st. 12 witnesses appear on the docket, including the victim, a doctor, and 9 police officers. Just days after the partly decomposed body of 30-year-old pregnant mother of 2, Lauren Saunders, was discovered off Munnings Drive in the Gladstone Road area, alleged killer Reuben Cartwright Jr. was arraigned in connection with the incident. In court, Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley formally charged the 31-year-old with intentionally and unlawfully causing Saunders' death back on Sunday, October 19th. Cartwright was not called on to enter a plea to the indictable offense, and bail was denied. However, the Chief Magistrate informed the accused that he can apply to the Supreme Court for bail. When the magistrate asked Cartwright if he had any questions, he said no. Following the arraignment, the court allowed Cartwright to speak briefly with his relatives before being remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. The accused returns to court on January 22nd of 2026 for service of a voluntary bill of indictment, fast-tracking the case to the Supreme Court for trial. And tonight, we are following reports of a shooting in the Camp Road area. At least one person, we're told, has been wounded in that incident. Details remain sketchy at this point, but we will continue to monitor the situation and have more for you as information becomes available. Charles Fisher continues filling in sports, and he's here with a preview of what's ahead here at 11.
Coming up in sports, National Basketball Team player Franco Miller Jr. is drafted into the NBA G League.
Our company has a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Good evening and thanks for staying up late. It's time for sports in the Bahamas tonight. We begin with basketball. National team standout Franco Miller Jr. dream of playing in the NBA bounced one step closer on the weekend as he was selected 27th overall in the second round of the NBA G League by the Santa Cruz Warriors, the feeder system of NBA's Golden State Warriors, who ironically Buddy Hield plays for. But Miller was a key figure in the Bahamas' run to the 2024 Olympics and played the last few seasons in France with FIBA Palma. He will now go into training camp with hopes of making the team roster, one step closer to making it to the NBA. Let's wish him the best of luck. DeAndre Ayton with his best game so far for the Los Angeles Lakers. 10 of 17 from the field, finished with 22 points to go along with 15 rebounds, his first double-double for the Lakers, and also added 2 assists, a steal, and a block shot in LA's 127-120 win over the Sacramento Kings. He's now starting to adjust.
Offensive rebounding and dunking the ball, I'm here. I'm playing on edge, and just everybody in general just sharing that consistent energy, that it was just so constant throughout the game. And we just had spurts and everybody contributing in their own way. And that was my way, being on the boards early and just, was trying to come out the half pretty strong. And, the game was neck and neck the whole time. So we were trying to break some of that up, and, he gave me the burst I need where, he got my back.
And league champions have already been crowned here in New Providence. And usually around this time, the various island champs be looking forward to the round-robin nationals. So do the fans. Speaking with Bahamas Softball Federation Executive Shane Albury, like last year, the bat will swing with a different format.
There's an invitational. I think it's the first week in December. So we have teams coming down from about 7 or 8 islands. And then we may have 1 or 2 teams out of New Providence. So we're looking forward to the round robin. Like I said, I think it's the first weekend in December, if not mistaken.
Why that format this year?
A lot of the islands aren't playing fast pitch. So we decided to go with an invitational where we can get more teams to play.
After only 1 year of existence, the New Providence Amateur Baseball League electing Christopher Wright as its new president. He is young and ready to lead.
I saw a future in the league. It's been a very long time that we didn't have this league. And coming up, you hear a lot of stories about senior league baseball. And we always wanted to know, like, what was it like, just hearing all the magnificent stories. And that's something that we wanted to be a part of. And to be a part of something, you have to be able to make that change. I want to be a part of something to help it grow. So that's why I took up the opportunity to say, let me put myself in that position to see something that I'm passionate about actually grow in the country.
Wright was the only person elected, and a new slate of officers will be assembled at a later date.
We have a myriad of guys that we looked at, we feel can come in and pick up the mantle and continue our goals we have for the league. So in the short term, we will have those positions filled.
We'll have much more from the new president on his vision in the next sports as he looks to bring it back to its glory days. Well, that's going to put a wrap on this late night sports. You've stayed up late. Time to get to bed, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy all noon. Signature hot, hot wings. What's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken. Those pepper wings.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
As we've been reporting all evening, Hurricane Melissa appears to be on a mean track for the region, the Bahamas included in that. For the very latest on Melissa's movements, let's say good evening to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
Good evening, Akava. We continue to track very dangerous Hurricane Melissa, which is packing winds now of 175 miles per hour. As of 8 o'clock this evening, the center of circulation was some 155 miles to the southwest of Kingston, Jamaica, still moving very slowly towards the northwest at 2 miles per hour. But we do anticipate a turn towards the north and eventually towards the northeast with an increase in the forward speed and landfall anticipated just around 2 a.m. on the southwest coast of Jamaica, and that will certainly weaken once it moves inland, and by tomorrow morning around 2 o'clock it will make a second landfall on the southeast coast of Cuba, where an additional weakening will take place of this system. So by the time it gets into Bahamian waters on Wednesday morning, we expect it to perhaps be a Category 1 hurricane as it races towards the northeast. Now let's just go to our forecast tracking and timelines. You can see it will impact Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane, 175 miles per hour winds, but due to the mountainous terrain, that will weaken to a Category 3, approaching the southeast coast of Cuba as a Category 3. An additional weakening taking place there, and hopefully we can get it down to a Category 1 by the time it emerges into our waters on Wednesday morning. Now, in terms of impact, we anticipate that the tropical storm force winds will begin in Inagua and Ragged Island. They will be the first two islands to start to experience tropical storm force winds, and that will start around 10 o'clock tomorrow night, gradually spreading throughout the central and southeastern parts of the country. Now, the core of those hurricane force winds, they will be confined mainly to Crooked Island, Acklands, and Long Key. That is where we expect the center of circulation to pass, and that will take place sometime between 5 and 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening. And then storm surge is another major factor, again, for the island of Crooked Island. On the south coast and the west coast of Crooked Island, where we have some shallow waters there, Well, you can anticipate a storm surge up to about 6 feet along the coast. So we're asking residents in Crooked Island, particularly along the south and western coast of Crooked Island, to move inland and to higher grounds over the next couple of days. And in terms of winds, those tropical storm force winds, yes, you can anticipate some downed trees, utility lines and the likes as a result of those strong tropical force winds. And in Crooked Island and accidents, that could be a little bit more severe. In terms of rainfall, up to 6 to 8 inches of rainfall will be accumulated over the next 2 days. So again, flooding will be an issue in those areas that are usually prone to flooding. And as we go to our temperatures around the Family Valleys, Marsh, Abaco, Green Tulokee, Freeport, 81 degrees, 82 in the Berry Islands, Allenstown, Bimini at 84, 82 in Harper Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, and Allenstown, Kid Island. Also Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, St. Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 82, and that string continues into San Salvador and Rumkey. Georgetown, Exuma, 1 degree up at 83 degrees. Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island, also 83. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81. Acklands, 81. Matchitown, Inagua, 82. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. Satellite pictures, once again, just reiterating what we have already told you about Melissa. It's still 155 miles to the southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. And those outer feeder bands, you can see one of those wrapping around the southeast Bahamas, so that will provide some cloud cover tonight, with those showers being intermittent as we head into Wednesday, and some occasional heavy downpours, which will lead to flooding at times. Forecast for tonight. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise overcast, warm, and humid, 77 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, we're looking at rather cloudy conditions with a brief shower or two in the forecast, 87 degrees for your high temperature, and extended weather forecast as we head into the middle part of the week when we anticipate Melissa will be pushing through the southeast Bahamas. We could get 1 or 2 brief passing showers in the northwestern parts of the country. Otherwise, lots of sunshine returning on Thursday, Friday, heading into the weekend, looking pretty good. The Sunday, we could have a couple of showers working their way back into our forecast, but temperature-wise, not too bad. They're going to be in the upper 80s, and for a greater part, they're going to be in the low 80s due to the heavy cloud cover over the next couple of days. Carvel.
Thank you, Basil. And as Melissa continues to move toward our area, be sure to keep it with us for the very latest. And that is our broadcast for this Monday. I'm Corval Pyfrom, and for all of us, take care, be well, and remember, we'll be looking to see you again right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
At Centerville, I'm LaDawn Davis. This is ZNS.
Hey, Darnell, separate apartments are not silly, okay? We can't court each other if we live together. Boy, because we're trying to weave our independent lives into a new, vital, multifaceted marriage. Ooh, Maya. Ooh, that's good. I gotta put